All right, today I'm going to start downsizing. I've had this huge pedal board for quite a long time. I think I started out where I had all these like different little pedal boards and I wanted to put them together into one big one, like a giant multi-effects pedal, so I could have every effect I ever needed. And so I had I liked Hendrix, so I had my Vibe and Octafuzz, and the Fuzz Factory is kind of like a fuzz face, but. And then I had like the Trinity, Rat, Tube Screamer and Muff. I had my ambient section with delays, reverb, a volume pedal for swell, and I had the wah wah is definitely part of the Jimi Hendrix section. I just got everything I thought I needed so I could do anything. I even had a tremolo on there. And I'm really tired of carrying this heavy ass rig. So I'm going to start downsizing. So first I took a picture of my board and I noticed that I didn't use all my pedals. The ones I didn't use were X'd out in red. The ones I used for only one song were in yellow, and the ones I used for 2 or more songs were in green. The wah I used for 2 songs. The question marks, being the whammy and the reverb, are dependent on a couple things. The whammy I need for one song to play fake bass in because we don't have a bass player. And the reverb is dependent on if I have an amp with reverb. Now, to rectify some of this, I got some pedals. First, I've got the Hot One wah volume. So this should take care of the big wah and volume pedal I have on my board. And when the wah's off, it's a volume pedal. This is Nando's octave pedal, which is a lot smaller than my whammy and should be able to pull off bass. Well, good enough for all I care. The Trinity is going to be replaced with this EVH overdrive. Now I found a fix for the one flaw I had on it. To me, this mid-range is at a bad frequency, and when I use this at practice, like I turned the mids up, and it wouldn't cut more. It just got more nasally. So to rectify that, and now this is also dependent on the amp I go through, but I found when I played it through the Liverpool, when I was doing the Liverpool demo thing, it actually added some high mids that made the EVH cut. So either I'm gonna have this on the board, or I'm going to use an amp that has more mids. Now, maybe the Bassman has more mids than my Deluxe. Well, I know it does, but how much is the question. But also, I might be downsizing my amp too, because I'm just tired of carrying heavy gear. I want to be mobile. I want to be in and out. And so I brought my little quilter head, and it actually does a good job of kind of doing a faux Foxy sound on it. It has like this one setting where it's based on EL84 amplifiers, and if you dial it just right, you put the 5150 through it, sounds great. Now I'm also looking at other amplifiers, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear this down. I'm going to get the power supply out from under it, put it on my new Pedal Train Junior, and then I'm going to fill the board and see how everything goes. And then I'm probably going to trade away some of my old pedals and see about getting a new amp or whatever. I know from playing the Liverpool, I once again in my life have Vox fever, and that's an expensive addiction to have. But yeah, here we go, and let's see how this goes. Now this stuff is the stuff you want if you don't want your pedals to move. I'm putting this on every pedal. I have it on some already, but the ones that don't, I'm going to replace and put this on because I want to keep things in their place. Now this is what nightmares are made out of. All right, I got the power supply mounted below. Kind of has an angle I really tried getting it straight, but it's not possible. I don't know, but it works. See, all good. Next, gotta put on the fuzzy stuff. Okay, well, this is the finished board. And here is what's left over. All right, here we are a week later and the board has changed once again. I was at practice and I had the 5150 pedal, now with the mids boosted. And well, basically he has a Katana, which is based off of a 5150. It's got the brown channel, and he's like, oh, it sounds too much like my amp. I like your old tone, which I love the Trinity as it is. So I was like, okay, that's good for me. I was just trying to be a little bit, heavier to fit in, but I get to go back to the Trinity. And as you can see, my Big Muff is shrunk. Now it's a nano Big Muff, but the Trinity's here. We've got all the other pedals. This is kind of like my final form. Got this on to boost the Rat, and then I turn it off when I want less gain on the Rat. And I also use it to boost the Big Muff. I think everything else is the same. Here, let me give you a quick little demonstration of all the pedals here. And right now it's like right before the gig. I'm about to leave my house to go to the practice space, in which I will show you the next thing I got, which is going to be part of my new downsizing. It was going to be phase 2 in the future, but I went to Guitar Center and I had to get it. So let me do a quick demo of the pedals, and then in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, you're going to be transported to the garage where I will show you my new baby. Okay, so obviously we got the Hotone wah volume. So here's in volume mode. I'm just going to hit a open note on my guitar. So it's like, it takes a little bit getting used to. It's a lot smaller than the Ernie Ball I had. And then when you put it into wah mode, let's see if I can do 2 things at once. Then we got the octave multiplexer that got from Nando, and it's better with the Tube Screamer on to boost up, so I can do the bass lines close enough until we get a bass player. Then we got the Rat, which like I said, I tried the 5150, but he said it sounded too much like his amp, and he liked my tone before. So there you go, and here we go. Boosted by the Tube Screamer. Then we have the Nano Muff, which I just got on the way home today. So I used to have one of these back in the day. I had a mini Tube Screamer, a Rat, and a Nano Big Muff, and when I played with a couple buddies of mine, and half the time, well, at the start I was in standard tuning, and then because one had a 7-string that was dropped to F sharp, I put baritone strings on my telly, and it was in B, and I quickly said, I don't like this, and went back to standard. And yeah, so I had the Trinity rocking then, and it was perfect. It was going into a Vox AC30, which is a hint kinda of what is going to come, because it's not an AC30, but it's in that direction. So here's the Muff being boosted by the Tube Screamer. Then we got the Univibe, of course. I love the Univibe. I think it's one of the few modulations I like. And then these three pedals and the volume part of this pedal are all for one song. So it's kind of like I do a swell, which I'm holding the guitar and trying to do this at one time. I apologize, but after I'm done filming this, I'm packing up and heading over to the garage. But here's the basic. It's I play three different notes, but let me see if I can do a one at a time. Let's see if I can pull this off. That was a very crappy version, but yeah, I'm sitting down and I got to get dressed. And yeah, excuses. So now you shall be transported to the garage where I show you the next piece in my downsizing. See you there. All right, here I am. Just got here. Most of the stuff in the garage has been loaded, but what hasn't been loaded is the new piece of gear I teased in my downsizing. And here it is. Look how tiny it is. It's a Quilter Aviator Cub UK. And earlier on in this video, you've probably heard me mention that I've gotten Vox fever. And sure enough, it's got the normal and top boost channel. And it looks beautiful. And it's super light. Like, you can lift it. I don't know how I can show this, but you can lift it with one finger. It is perfect. So it's loud, like super loud, and I love it. When I went to the Guitar Center and I was trying out different amps, and this one, like, I was like going, you know, because first I was gonna check out the Deluxe, the Tone Master, the digital one, because I love the sound of my Deluxe cranked, but there's nowhere I can crank it. It's too loud. And so I went to Guitar Center and I basically tried out everything. But when I first played it, I was like, oh man, this is bright, because I read that online too. And they had a used one there. And the used one was a lot less bright. So I think the speaker is going to mellow out in the future. So basically, even as it's bright, I just turn the treble down, and it's beautiful. It's perfect. I love Quilter. Like, I have the 101 head, and I've been using that. I've used that at a couple gigs, and I was almost thinking of getting the cab for that, where the head stows in the back of the cab. That was my one choice, but then, like, the Vox fever took over, and I said, no, I'm gonna go with this. And then so my little Quilter 101 head's gonna be for home practice. But yeah, it feels good downsizing. Like, the only thing now I can downsize is my guitars, and I think the only way you can downsize that is air guitar, and I'm not ready for that yet. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good one.